As executive secretary of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union from 1954 to 2002, E. Wayne Cooley took a stand to expand athletic opportunities for Iowa girls while increasing the enthusiasm and acceptance of girls sports from Iowa to across the nation. The 1920s were a time of big change. In Iowa, one of these changes was the growing interest in high school girls 6-on-6 basketball. Following the introduction of 6-on-6 in Iowa in 1898, small schools around the state adopted it as their own. The sport continued to grow as the IHSAA, or Iowa High School Athletic Association, started sponsoring it in 1904. The growing number of followers urged the IHSAA to put on a statewide girls basketball tournament, and in 1920 it finally did. This tradition is still carried on today. Rural schools were the only schools participating in the sport for the most part, as large schools and colleges shared a belief that girls were unfit to compete in strenuous activities such as basketball. In 1925, however, the IHSAA decided to drop the ball on high school girls 6-on-6 basketball. In a heated meeting that year, John W. Aggins, the superintendent of an Iowa high school, and a few other men defended the girls. Aggins roared, "Gentlemen, if you attempt to do away with girls basketball in Iowa, you'll be standing in the center of the track when the train runs over you." After the IHSAA ruled to stop sponsoring girls basketball altogether, Aggins and other supporters of girls sports started the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, or IGHSAU. After the start of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, girls basketball increased in popularity in rural schools. In fact, in the 1940s, 70% of high school girls participating in 6-on-6 were from schools with less than 100 students. Girls basketball became a large part of small-town life, as almost the entire town went to cheer on their girls at each game. Larry Niemeyer, a longtime 6-on-6 coach, once said,
"We would have crowds of over 2,000 people, and when the girls' game was over, we'd have maybe 50 people left in the stands for the boys' game."
By the 1950s, 70% of girls that were offered the sport took part in it. In 1954, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union was in a time of struggle, as they were having funding problems. They also needed a strong leader, since the first director, R.H. Chisholm, resigned from his position. E. Wayne Cooley was discovered as a coach and assistant to the president at Grinnell College, and soon he got the job because of his ideas to expand the sports offered by the union and his plan to move the annual girls basketball tournament to a larger location. Once Cooley was commissioned, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union board decided to search for the reason why they weren't receiving sufficient funding. They soon found that Chisholm had been siphoning off some of the IGHSAU's money to pay his medical bills. Chisholm was charged for the money he took, and with Cooley's leadership, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union was put back on the right track. 1 year after Cooley received the job of executive secretary, he moved the annual high school girls basketball tournament from the Drake Fieldhouse, the Veterans Memorial Auditorium in Des Moines, which held many more people than the other location. He explained this move. "Fans hadn't gotten their money's worth. Something had to be done. I knew we had no control over the games, but we could control what went on before the games and at halftime. For years I had been amazed at the amount of high school talent in the state. It seemed a wonderful opportunity to put some of it to work." So, he added performances and pageants between games, using other groups from around the state. This increased the attendance levels for the tournament because of spectators coming to see performers. Cooley not only boosted sales for the tournament, but he assisted other business owners in raising their profit levels as well. The owner of a restaurant in Des Moines benefited highly from the girls' basketball tournament. The girls' tournament is second only to Christmas when it comes to spending. Cooley is another Santa Claus for Des Moines, said Babe Bisignano. Another large change Cooley initiated was the expansion of girls' sports sponsored by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Cooley discovered shortly after he received the job that if the IGHSAU were to continue making girls happy, they needed to expand their roster. After basketball was over, we were out of the newspaper pages, Cooley once said. We had nothing, and the boys were all over the sports pages for the rest of the year. For 7 months, the girl wasn't on the public's radar screen. Cooley eventually added 8 sports through a series of polls given to girls participating in sports and a vote from the IGHSAU's board. It added softball first in 1955, golf and tennis in 1956, track and field in 1962, cross country in 1966, swimming and diving in 1967, volleyball in 1970, and finally soccer in 1998. Cooley was open to trying new ideas as well, as he attempted to sponsor synchronized swimming and other less popular sports, but these were discontinued due to lack of participants. Girls were participating in many new sports, as basketball was now the third most played in 2000, behind volleyball and softball. In fact, basketball saw an almost 9,000 player drop from 19,720 in 1980 to 10,693 in 2000. Cooley once stated, "We have more participants today than we have ever had in the history of the Girls' Union, but they're spread over more sports." In 1972, the Title IX Amendment was passed, which stated, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under an education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." This applied to sports, and schools across the country, including some larger schools and colleges in Iowa, scrambled to supply their students with girls' sporting programs. However, Ighsau Cooley knew that most of Iowa didn't need to worry, as schools were already offering girls' sports, and had been for years. However, Title IX did bring questions about 6-on-6 basketball. Media, public, and girls were pressuring the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union to offer 5-on-5 instead of 6-on-6, stating that it was unfair to the girls that they had to play a different version of basketball. After a few years of both types of girls basketball, in 1993, Cooley and the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union made the complete change to 5-on-5.
We did not make the change because of pressure from the media, not because of coaches, not from superintendents or principals of high schools, not because of the general public pressure. The pressure that we could not handle came from the girls themselves, the high school students that were playing basketball at that time.
Cooley's accomplishments have been recognized across Iowa. Today, a scholarship is offered in his name. It was created in 1992 on the basis of selecting a girl that reflects discipline, perseverance, character, superior athletic skill, leadership, academic achievement, and citizenship traits which personify the life and expectations of the namesake. The largest of the 6 scholarships is $15,000, given out by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union over the course of 4 years. This is evidence that Cooley had a large influence on Iowa life and helped girls become more known and respected. This scholarship continues to assist and inspire girls to participate in sports and to be themselves. Ighsau Cooley is known today as one of the most influential people in high school girls sports in Iowa. He sadly passed away in 2013, but his influence is still strong. His expansion of girls sports in Iowa was revolutionary, as not many people were willing to offer traditionally boys' activities to the girls. Cooley took the stand to make girls recognized and allowed them to play the sports they wanted to by expanding to 9 sports.
When I came in here in 1954, I had one goal in mind, and that was to pull the girl up to where she was equal of the boy in the eyes of the public in this state.
In our lives today, high school girls sports are still going strong, as the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union is working hard to keep offering these programs to girls. And the annual state high school girls basketball tournament is still well attended today. Cooley definitely succeeded in his goal, and his legacy continues on the courts, pools, and pitches at high schools throughout Iowa.